So, did you always know that you wanted to be a musician?
So that's interesting. Like, yes and no. I think my twin brother Ty, I have to owe a lot of that towards because he was definitely from early on, like even middle school. I think kind of knew that he wanted to play music forever and didn't want to ever have a real job. And I was a little more of I was a little more nerdy, I guess, growing up. I did well in school, so I always kind of wanted to play music, but assumed that I would end up with a real job at some point, and even went to college initially to either go into engineering or medicine was kind of what I was thinking. I was a chem major initially, and then about a year and a half into college, switched to be a music major, and then that was the beginning of the end. Where once I was majoring in music, it was like I'm not going to make any money anyway, so I might as well just go full all into music. So
So, as twins, were you guys always kind of joined at the hip that it was just a natural progression to become a duo in the music world?
a little bit of both. I mean, we're fraternal, and while we're very close, we also definitely had individual lives, and even went to different schools for high school, which was kind of fun because I was definitely the more introverted twin, and that really allowed me to kind of break out a little bit and kind of have my own friends and social setting and all that kind of stuff. But we were always, like I said, we were always really close. We always played music together. We started playing music in well, we started way back when playing violin and piano when we were little kids, but then we played a lot together in middle school when we started playing guitar, and played in the church band together all through high school and stuff. So we were kind of like separate, but then had a lot of the same stuff going on at the same time. And then as we got older, late high school, early college, we realized how hard it was to keep a band together and have other people that we had to depend on to practice, and realized that the two of us would always be ready to jam out. And so um yeah, I think we quickly cut everybody else out of the equation, but we always kind of kept the two of us in there, and we've somehow made that work now throughout a lot of life changes between me getting married, him getting married, us living in separate states at one point. Now we live about 2.5, 3 hours apart. I've got kids, he doesn't have kids. So there's definitely been some differences, but we always just had a natural on stage chemistry, and just loved working together musically. So um, I don't think there was ever too much question that we would not be making music together, but um, I don't know that, we definitely, there were other people involved at one point, and then we cut them out and it was just the two of us, so we stuck together.
So, what was the highest number of members you had in a band?
Um, Officially only three ever. It was just me and my brother Ty, and then we had a drummer. But throughout the course of a few different attempted jamming sessions and stuff, I mean, we would have, we had a keyboard player in there, and um an extra bass player, and then Ty would play guitar instead of bass, and we kind of move things around. So we've done stuff with as many as like 5 or 6 members, but as an official band, we only ever had us and one other person.
So, what were for any aspiring musicians, including my son who hooked us up,
Yes.
what were some of the biggest challenges or the biggest learning experiences you had while you were trying to put a band together and you had people coming and going and realizing that it was you and Ty that were the constants?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it depends a little bit on where you're at in the process and in the development. Um, and so at the beginning, for us was in high school, it was more of just, hey, do we have somebody who either has a car or has a parent that's willing to drive them to, to practice with us, you know? And then as you get a little bit older and it starts to be more career oriented, there's a lot more complicated questions like, are we making enough money for everybody to be in the band? Does this person need to get paid? Do I need to get paid? Are we all working extra jobs? How is that all working out? Um, and then from the actual band decision making process to there's, is this a good fit musically? Are we all on the same page with what musical direction we're going in, how many shows we want to play, what type of shows we want to play? Are we willing to travel for shows? How much do we need to get paid to be willing to travel for shows? You know, all that kind of stuff. So um, there's a lot of decision making that goes into it. I think the hardest part, I definitely, to me, you know, it felt like in high school it was very hard to be like, oh, does this kid have a car to drive to practice with us? Like that felt like a difficult thing. That was not, you know, it was way harder when we're, you know, 21-year-old college dropouts being like, hey, are we going to be able to pay rent next month? Like, is that, you know, it's like, is this a good idea? You know, they're like, or are we going to have gas money to get to the next show? And we just booked an entire, you know, nationwide tour. And like, we don't know if we're going to be able to pay to get to the next place. So those decisions are a little more serious, I think.
It's all perspective, right?
Right. Exactly.